Damn, I made a lot of videos this year. We're closing in on the 700 video mark. And we're also closing in, once again, of the end of 2012. The December to Remember continues. I'm very happy to have taken a week off. I apparently have lost my sunglasses somewhere, but I'll find them. But for right now, we're just going to do this face-to-face, man-to-man. We're going to talk about some of the most viewed videos of 2012. There will be links in the description box, which I neglected to point out in the top 30, blah, blah, blah. However, there are going to be links to these videos in the description box. That way you guys can check them out, or if you've already checked them out whenever they were first dropped, you can revisit them. This is the only way I can really think to judge how wide a response to a video is. Because if you're getting this many views, there's a lot of chance that there are people coming in from the outside. Maybe there's some repeat watches going on, or these are the videos that you guys have definitely helped out by sharing with your friends, with your immediate cohorts, or even with your enemies, maybe even with your pets. So let's take a look at some of the top 10 basically that came out of this year. The very first one I want to mention, with 7,000 views plus, we have the Bring Me the Horizon band review. I like doing these band reviews this year. They got a little bit tiring and repetitive and kind of dull to kind of perform for you guys as time went on, because I did some of these by request. However, whenever I was just getting started doing a couple of these, I just had a lot of, there was a lot of energy behind it, and I had a lot of firepower, so to speak. And as I went on, it seemed like I was getting a lot of the same arguments over and over again, mainly because a lot of the bands that I've done the reviews for kind of are from the same vein, same mold, and suffer from the same difficulties. However, with this one, you guys definitely seem to like it. I'm happy that you did, and I encourage you to watch it once again. Number 9, the Resolution album review for Lamb of God. This is the first album review I did in 2012, and we know that from watching the top 30 albums of the year video, because they are on that list also, so multi-listing, very cool on their part, congratulations. And this was, of course, before Randy Blythe got into all sorts of hubbub and hullabaloo overseas for, everything that we've been talking about. We do, unfortunately, have to revisit that on this list a little bit later on. However, this album review was definitely a positive one. Lamb of God seemed to really craft a positive album that, did a lot more to at least stimulate a listener such as myself than Wraith seemed to. So I think the positivity, and of course Lamb of God's predetermined fan base, certainly helped out. There is a video a little bit later on in this countdown where the predetermined fan base certainly helped quite a damn bit. Number 8, we have overrated rock bands. Now, this is the second part of a series that also includes overrated metal bands, which we're going to also get into later. I know I'm spoiling a lot of this, but you have to mention it. After overrated metal bands seemed to get a response and was also kind of a little on the controversial side, it's one of those things where you have to expand your horizons. You can only play devil's advocate with one genre as long as you can until you finally have to expand and go into other genres. And this is one that I would probably re-record if given the opportunity. However, you guys seem to respond to that raw energy, and the reason why I would re-record it is because I have since come up with a couple more. So perhaps this will be a overrated rock bands part 2 that will be coming in the near future. I do want to go into some other genres also as time wears on, but for right now, thank you for all the love and hate for that video. How about well, we're going to get into the Lamb of God thing right now. Lamb of God's Randy Blythe arrested. This is a video that was released whenever the news first broke, before we got into like the supplemental 3 or 4 videos that have been done talking about parts of the trial or him being released and things like that. This is the originator, and this was a video that was released near the end of June, and it definitely just shot up in views instantaneously. There's still a lot of love for Randy Blythe. There was tons of free Randy signs. This was something that was littered on my Facebook wall and, everything like that. So this was a huge story. This was not something that was just because it was Randy Blythe necessarily. It definitely helped because he is a bigger name in the game of metal. However, this is just something that really took a lot of people by surprise, not to mention angered a lot of people. So there was definitely a reaction on both sides of the coin. There were some people that were saying free Randy, exclamation point. There were other people that were saying fuck Randy, he's a douchebag, blah blah blah. Whatever your side may have been, thank you for the response, and hopefully after the trial comes here in 2013, we will be able to post a video here on this channel I'll be able to come in front of you guys and say that Randy Blythe is officially a free man. That's my hope. That's the fingers crossed. Moving right along, 5 reasons why people hate heavy metal. Now, of course, a couple weeks ago, I issued the response video to this, 5 reasons why people love heavy metal. Now, obviously, hate is going to get more views and more exposure, more, response, because this is something that is, it's troublesome. We all know why we love heavy metal. We understand that because we have gone through this process for however long period of time it has taken for you to really absorb the genre and just fall for it, like a young schoolyard couple. However, the one thing that a lot of people are wondering is, how could people hate this genre? It's so expansive. There's so many different positive avenues to heavy metal. Why do people hate this so much? And with this video, I hope to explain some of that. And also, for those who maybe watched the video and were agreeing with each and every one of those reasons, that's the reason why I hate heavy metal, I was able to provide a counter-argument as to why that's kind of either a silly reason or a reason that does not require that much in the way of fear, I suppose would be the best way to put it. So definitely keep your responses coming over there also. Number 5. This was kind of fun. Exposing metal bands' satanic propaganda. This is one that just cracked the 10,000 views mark. This was a response video to a very, very, very bigoted video that came out over the summer with the same title, only mine was a response video. And definitely you guys and a lot of other people have kind of come along and viewed this response video and have kind of, I guess, understood that what they have done has really been label an entire group, just like perhaps white people used to label black people, or Christians did it with Jews, or as Americans have done it with terrorists, with Muslims. It's kind of along those same lines. It's really kind of its own form of segregation, or if you even want to call it, you can't really call it racism, but it seems like the word that would aptly fit, even though these people are not different races. But that video definitely was one that had to be made. The minute that I saw these videos, I could not keep my mouth closed, and I'm glad that you guys have been so willing to kind of go the extra mile to make sure people see this, especially those who have seen the original video and maybe have had a lot of feelings of ill will and hatred and just, really anger toward it. Next we have Rush with the Clockwork Angels review. Rush, of course, landed at number 10 on the Album of the Year list, and this was an album review that you guys definitely seemed to latch on to, whether or not you really necessarily loved the album as much as I did. It didn't really matter. You guys just were really excited to hear about Rush, and of course Rush having a new album out was just a great and awesome thing for the year 2012. So this is one that just has consistently moved up the ranks, and I definitely know that within the next couple of months this will probably push back past the 10K mark. This is a list that I'm going off of from a couple of weeks ago as opposed to right now. I think one video has probably superseded the other, but whatever it may be, thank you guys, and continue talking about Rush and continue clicking on that video because they just made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and a Rush discography video in 2013 is likely, if not confirmed, because of this wonderful achievement of theirs. Up next, we have Keep Your Dubstep Out of My Metal. This was just a neat little idea I came up with, quite honestly. I was just kind of sitting there thinking to myself late one night, maybe even one afternoon, I forget exactly what it was, and that was the phrase that really just came out of my mouth. Keep your dubstep out of my metal. It was all in response to a group that I saw that was placed in a metal section over at work that basically was talking about how they were heavy metal dubstep and how it was for fans of, thrashing heavy metal and dubstep. And I'm just like, oh god, please get that the fuck away. This was awesome. I liked making this video. Godzilla was fucking great in that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you gotta see this video. It's hilarious. No matter which side of the coin you're on, I'm sure there's a lot of people that hate me for saying that, and I really don't care. I really don't, because quite honestly, I don't think that it has any place in heavy metal, and it's going to be something that it's going to take a band, or it's going to take time in order for me to change my mind. And so far, that band has not come, and not enough time has purely passed. This is just a fad still. Whenever it's not a fad, we can talk. And then we get to the predetermined fan base that really helped the video, and that was the Tattoo track review for Van Halen. This also came early in the year, in January. So once again, we have two videos that did very well right at the beginning of the year, and then a lot that did very well, kind of in the middle and near the end of the year. However, this is one where I actually like Tattoo. I like that song a lot, and I'm not sure if everybody agrees. I highly doubt they do. Considering this album was pretty good, but definitely not necessarily one of their best. But I really like the song, and I was willing to reflect that, and a lot of people seem to catch hold. Of course, Van Halen has had 30 to 40 years of predetermined fan base, so there you go. It's all it takes right there, and that's all it took right there. I say 40 years, it's probably more like 35. All you math whizzes, fuck off. And then we get to number 1. This was just posted a couple of months ago. 10 or so overrated heavy metal bands. And this was just me playing devil's advocate, quite honestly. It was me playing devil's advocate on my favorite genre of music. And I knew that some of the bands that I was going to be talking about would be bands that I like. And that was the point of it. The point of it was for me to understand that I may listen to some overrated stuff. And you know what? I'm okay with that. And you should be okay with it too. This is something where I just sat down and thought about it for quite some time and made a list, and I looked down and I was just like, yikes, But these are all names in heavy metal that are very household, and, traditionally you don't think of it so much as it just being the music. It's also partially the fans. So many people have told me that you can't use the fans as an argument. Well, yeah, I can, actually. Because not only is the music overrated in the sense that it has a very similar progression to it, we see that sometimes in some music, and this can be also applied, this argument can be applied to the overrated rock bands stigma also. AC/DC is a tremendous, tremendous example of this, where they basically just made the same damn album each and every time after Back in Black, only a little bit worse. But then you get to, metal bands where it's mainly just how people react to them. There is a strong passion to a lot of these bands, but at the same time, it's all very misguided energy. You know what I mean? It's all very much for the wrong reasons. It's kind of channeled more towards something that is not pure in its own essence. It's something that's more against what the music itself is trying to be for. It's more so just, well, this is what helps me lift weights, or this is what, helps me get pissed off whenever I'm about to fight someone. That's not totally what music's all about. And, whenever you're associating one band necessarily with douchebags, that is just as overrated as anything else, because that's a negative stigma. Being overrated is a negative stigma. Now you're seeing the correlation. But thank you guys so much, because there have been so many videos. In fact, there's been 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 or 6 just from this year alone that you guys have pushed over 10,000 views. I'm hoping that we're able to do that a lot more in 2013. Hopefully all 10 videos will be 10,000 views or more. Thank you guys once again. I appreciate everything that you do for the Cover Killer Nation channel, and for me, as fans, I hope to continue to do what I can for you as fans of me. I'm talking ridiculously right now. I'm just very thankful. I will see you guys later.